Welcome to Kara Speaks, where the truth runs deep. Faithful, healed, and free. Real talk, real growth. Let the Spirit speak. Stories that set you free. Becoming who you're meant to be. Welcome to the conversation. Kara Speaks.
Welcome back to another episode of Kara Speaks. Of course, you already know who I am. If you are listening to my voice, thank you so much. If you are watching my face on YouTube, thank you. Give me a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button, please. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Follow the podcast and go on this journey with me. Go to karaspeaks.com to get the latest updates. Get my book, Healing Cost Me Everything. I think if you have gone through any type of loss, whether it's a death in the family, whether it's a loss of a friendship, a loss of yourself, and you had to fight your way back and transform from the inside out, you will like this book. So go ahead and check it out. It's called Healing Cost Me Everything on karaspeaks.com. Let's go ahead and get into the episode. Let me tell you something about me. When people used to do something that offended me, I used to want to ignore the harm so bad. I used to want them to tell me something, to explain why they did what they did, so it can make the harm feel less personal. It could soften the sting. It will make it less about me and more about their intention instead of the impact. Oh man, I used to want them to do it so bad, and they never did. You know, it was never sufficient enough because my mind would just not let me abandon, my emotions wouldn't let me abandon myself like I was really trying to. I just wanted people to explain. Like, maybe if I could understand why you did what you did, maybe it would hurt a little less. But it never did, because my emotions were valid. My feelings are valid. They're important. And ultimately, what I was doing is people pleasing. I was trying to preserve the connection. I wanted you to explain to me so I could understand the intent, so I could keep us, in community with one another. I don't want to believe that you meant to hurt my feelings. I don't want to believe that you didn't care or consider me in that moment. I want to believe that you had a good reason to do the things that you did to hurt me. That's what I really want. I really wanted to believe it. And I was pretty much begging people to tell me something, because I knew what would happen if I accepted the truth. It either meant that the relationship was going to have to change, or you weren't who I thought you were. And that was hard to accept. So that's why I was just wanting to believe that you didn't mean to do what you did. You didn't go out of your way to hurt me, because I would never go out of my way to hurt you. Let me give you an example. I want to share an experience. There was a time where a former friend brought my name up in a group setting with people I was no longer in community with. Now, I was told that, nothing was bad that was said about me, but that's not the point, right? The point is, my name was brought up around people who no longer have access to me. And for me, that caused me harm. Now, the intention was not malicious. The intention was not to go out and hurt me. However, intent versus impact. And I really wanted this person to explain to me why, especially considering we had conversations about, now that you're not a part of this, I'm not going to bring you up. There's no need to, right? And I trusted that. I trusted their word. I trusted that they would honor their word and not do that. And that wasn't honored. And so I was just really looking for an answer. And the answer they gave me, I accepted it initially, because like I said, I really wanted to understand and believe that, this is your intention was greater than the impact. And so initially I accepted it. I accepted their explanation, but I sat with it. for maybe like a day or so. And I was just like, no, this don't feel good to me. I don't like this. I still don't like this. I even took it to therapy and I talked about it. And she didn't convince me one way or another. She just asked me questions to make me think deeper about how I really felt about it. Because this was a time where I wasn't fully processing what I felt. You know, I was still dismissing my own emotions to accommodate other people. I didn't want other people to feel uncomfortable about me being offended. Ain't that crazy? So I would suppress how I really felt about it and be like, okay, I guess I accept that. But I didn't. And, you know, and so I had to talk about it the next day with the person. I sent like a long message, and I know it probably felt like out of the blue, like, damn, we just talked about this. And that was my issue before, like rehashing things after we already talked about it instead of getting things out. But again, I was a delayed processor. I would always dismiss my own feelings until I process later. I'm like, nah, I don't like that. Let's talk about that again. But I brought it up again, and, you know, they gave me another, you know, explanation. You know, at the time I accepted it for what it was, but it still didn't sit right in my spirit. And, you know, that affected the relationship going forward. I just couldn't see them the same. And although they gave an explanation and, you know, they told me what their intent was, it still caused harm. And I realize now that explanation is not care. Just because somebody give me an explanation on why they did what they did, it doesn't mean that, you know, that they showed a sense of consideration. And when I think about, you know, not being cared for in that moment, it felt like a betrayal. It felt like a dagger. Like, damn, I can't even trust you with my feelings. I can't even trust you with my emotions. That was something I had to work through. That was something I had to heal through and process and come to a final resolution about what I wanted to do. How did I want to show up in the friendship? Or did I even want to continue to show up? Because I had to think about what was important to me. What's important to me? Is this just, you know, a slight, or is this something major? And for me, it was something major, because in my friendships and relationship, I'm big on trust. And if I cannot trust you, then I can't do life with you. I have to be able to trust you. And if I can't trust you to honor the friendship outside of my presence and to speak up for me, or to speak about what you know about me, what you know to be true about me and my character, then how can we remain friends? How can we remain friends? And it just wasn't one thing. It was many other things. It wasn't just one thing. But this was kind of like the icing on the cake to kind of be like, yeah, I see you different now. And I can't unsee something that I've already seen. Just because you explain your intention of why you did what you did, I was still exposed to harm. Whether you meant for me to be harmed or not, I was exposed to harm. And I just felt like I should have been considered in that moment. You know, I feel like when we offer access to people in our life, we expect a certain level of care and stewardship, right? If I am sharing my life with you, if we're doing life together, I expect my name to be cared for when I'm not around. You know, and I, of course, I'm going to do the same thing for anybody that I'm in community with. I expect to be considered. Like, if I'm not in the room and my name comes up about something, the least I expect somebody to do is say, hey, I wonder how Kara would feel about this conversation. You know, how would Kara feel if she knew these things were being said about her? Especially considering that I shared a meaningful connection. Even though I initially accepted the explanation, my body didn't receive it, because I knew that I wasn't honoring myself in that moment. I was not honoring what I felt. I was not honoring what was not okay with my spirit. I used to think that I'm going to show up in the best version of me, in the best way I know how, regardless of how anybody treats me. I thought that was integrity. I thought that was admirable, but I was abandoning myself every single time. I was holding resentment because of my own fault, because of me, because I couldn't be honest, or not couldn't, I wouldn't be honest about what I felt. So just because somebody wouldn't consider me, I would still consider them. I'm going to still think about and reflect on how I can be a better friend than them, even though they don't do the same for me. I used to think that meant showing up no matter what. But what was that doing to me? Look how that was harming me. I mean, I wrote a whole book about it. Healing cost me everything. It cost me, friendships. Because I had to realize, like, this is not what I wanted. I want a healthy friendship. I want friendship that considers me, that cares about, how I'm spoken about when I'm not around. To think about how I would feel, if I'm spoken about in a room that I'm not present in. I know now that reciprocity is care. Reciprocity is healthy. When I think about my friendships now, oh man, I dare you to say something about me in their presence and I'm not around. I know that if my friends now, if they go into a room and my name is brought up, they're not going to just remain neutral. They're going to defend me. Whether it's not about me being right or wrong. They're going to defend and honor the friendship because they respect me, they love me. They're not going to allow people to say anything about me that is not positive or that is not indicative of my character. They're not going to allow anybody to shift a narrative that does not speak to who I am. Because they know me and they love me. And when they come back to me and they tell me what was said, I don't have to ask them, what did you say? Because I know what they said. I know they defended me. And when I say defend, I just simply mean care for me. Care for my name when I'm not there, the same way that I would do for them. I know that they understand the impact. I know that they honor this friendship. They care about this friendship. They are committed to stewarding our friendship well. And that means considering me in the decisions they make concerning me. That I have fierce protectors. And that's what I realize I need now. Like, I need friends that are protective over me, protective over my name, protective over my character. I got friends now that know me. They know me well. They know me well enough to know what is and what isn't my character. You're not going to be able to tell them nothing about me. Ain't nobody going to be able to sit there and talk about me or whatever lights you want to say. You're not going to be able to say anything untrue about Kara around them, period. I already know that. And the same thing goes for them. And I appreciate that. I honor that now. I nurture that now. And I really appreciate it. And I'm grateful that I did experience what I experienced in my previous friendship because it allows me to appreciate what I have now. It solidifies what I want in friendship now. I just know what I expect and what I want in my friendship now. And it's non-negotiable. I want friends that care for the friendship. I want friends that honor it in and outside of my presence. I want people who want to keep the friendship intact just as much as I do. I want friendships that do the work to continue to grow the friendship just as I do. I want us to be committed to one another, to continue to grow with one another, because if we're going to be doing life together, we got to be on one accord and we got to be able to talk about that thing, right? And I do have that trust and that confidence in them to protect me and protect our friendship and to protect the bond that we built. That's all I got for y'all this time. I'll see y'all next week right here on Kara Speaks, where we live faithful, healed, and free.